Welcome to the Power Up Podcast. I'm your host, Trevor Scullion. Join me for some powerful conversations with members of the Substation Design Solutions Industry Consortium, the SDSIC. I'll chat with members about the consortium, innovations, how they're implementing different technologies, even some of the projects they're working on to address the growing needs of our power grid. My guest today is Jeremy Morton. Jeremy is the area lead at Power Engineers and is an original founder of the SDSIC, having held many positions over the years, including starting up the physical committee, chairing the entire consortium, and most recently, working with Bill Gordon as the co-chair of the business strategy committee. Thanks for joining me today, Jeremy.
Happy to be here.
I think after Kansas City, a lot of folks were talking about some of the members, trying to figure out where this whole thing started. So I know you and I go way back.
What? No.
but maybe for all the newbies listening, just a little bit about your background and the role you do now at Power.
Yeah. So I guess, going back 10 years at Duke, right? So working for Duke, we met with everybody. Idaho Power, NES, Entergy was in there. Who else did we have there? I know I'm missing somebody. Southern Company, absolutely. Sorry, I thought I said them.
Yeah.
But we all kind of met up and started this thing up. It's crazy to see how it's grown today.
Yeah. Well, and you being a founding member, you started up the physical group, right?
Yep. Pretty much me and Chip Cullum over there at NES. Yeah, he was my co-chair, and we were the first ones voted in and stood it up and got it moving forward. And now Josh has kind of taken the torch of it, and it's fantastic to see the growth in that group today. The consortium as a whole, I mean, it's unbelievable. You think back to the beginning, right? It was 16 of us in a room.
Yeah.
Chatting it up and trying to figure out, we've got this idea. We're not sure what it is, but we know it's going to be big.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember you and I walking around with that tagline, kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, I haven't. That was funny. People just looked at us like, what?
What?
Yeah, I told you I'm kind of a big deal. But who knew it'd turn into this, right? I mean, God, we go from 16 people and we're pushing 1,700 now, right? I don't think we hit it yet, but we're like right there.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It is
unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think any of us would have thought that far ahead. I mean, we thought it was a great idea that we all got together and some utilities could share ideas and all that, and that was about it.
Yep, exactly. I mean, we figured it'd be kind of like an SDS, because that was the name back then, an SDS users group. So we got quite a few users now.
Oh, and you think, dude, I remember like when you started the committee for physical design, and like you and Chip on the calls, me and Dan or Steve,
Yeah. Yep.
It wasn't exactly hard to get everyone on the same agenda.
Well, I'll tell you what was the hardest, I think, from when I think back to all that, right? None of us ever did any kind of, well, most of us didn't do any kind of public speaking or anything like that. So that was terrifying to get up on a stage in front of all these strangers and be me, right? That was tough. I mean, I struggled with that. I would say that was probably one of the hardest things.
Is that right?
That was harder than even standing this thing up. Just to stand up there in front of people and talk.
Yeah, well, man, your public speaking over the years has gotten amazing. Like that was
one of the first ones, though. I mean, I hate to cut you off, but this is the one that sticks in my head because the most people said the most to me about it. It was at AU, and I'm standing there teaching a class, and I'm rocking back and forth with these cards in my hands. I kind of wish we had a camera right now, because you would be dying laughing worse than that right now, because I'm mimicking it. But just standing there with my cards and talking super dry, like drier than the desert dry. And today I can get up on a stage and really kind of run a room. As Mark said on a call earlier today, out of everybody here, Jeremy's the only one that doesn't need a microphone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Oh man, I forgot about the cards.
Yep, I didn't. That stuck in my head so bad, but everybody grows, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you touch on a great point, because for a lot of the newbies, right? Like, we've all been through it. No one started as a professional public speaker. Everyone, not a lot of folks are used to giving a presentation and getting up there. And I think for folks listening, that's a great message, right? It's not, you don't have to come in all polished. It will help you get there.
Right, exactly. It's scary. I'll tell you what, man. Go talk to Josh. He'll admit the same thing. And I threw him to the wolves like I got thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
And look at him today. I mean, you go back to day one to today, it is night and day difference with him. He does a fantastic job, and I couldn't be more proud of that kid, for real.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And Audrey herself, I mean, as the chair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, her public speaking has gotten amazing.
Yeah. Night and day difference there too, right? Like, if you can't take anything away from this, but one thing, the ability to talk to people in an industry where we are all a bunch of hardcore introverts and don't want to talk to anybody, right?
Yeah. That's right.
So it kind of breaks you out of that shell and gets you talking to people and makes you a lot more comfortable with it, right? And it's a fantastic thing. So if I didn't get anything from any of this, and I only got that, I'm already winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if it wasn't for this, I would have never have probably broken out of that shell like that, right? So
yeah,
opportunities, man, opportunities.
Yeah, it's so true. And when you go to the conferences, you can see it. I mean, it takes a little bit for folks to kind of open up and, start chatting and all that stuff. But I think it's been one of the successes of the SDSIC. We have enough members that are, I guess, extroverts or now comfortable. You've turned into this massive extrovert. So, but you walk around and you get people talking, you'll throw a topic out, you put people at ease and they start to share. And that's kind of the message, I think, for a lot of the newbies, that want to join a monthly call, for example, and get a little quiet because they're not sure if they should share. And I guess the answer is, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought it up a little bit ago about our first calls, right? And we started to grow, and the calls started getting a little bigger. The face-to-faces started, the room started filling up more. In fact, I think I had the full room. I don't know if anybody's ever topped the physical room as far as attendees.
No.
But man, early on, it was like talking to crickets, and that is so terrifying because you don't know if you're right. You don't know if they're getting it right. You're just standing there talking to a room, just looking at you like a deer in the headlights, and you're just trying to make sure that what you're saying has an impact, that you're sparking some idea, right? And getting people to start really thinking about what this thing is and what we're trying to do with it.
Right.
It's tough, right? But now you go in those rooms and there's tons of people talking, and you still have the ones coming in, the noobs that, they're not ready to talk, and that's okay. Right. They're there to kind of soak it in, get a little bit of the flavor of what's going on, what we're trying to do here, the whole idea behind BIM and the consortium and this movement, the movement of the century, right? trying to get a industry that really has no competition to want to do something more efficiently, right? It's been an uphill battle, but they're all learning that, right, and getting it.
Such a good message for a lot of new folks, and we're probably not the most nurturing people, but we're definitely here to help. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
we throw you to the wolves, but it's all constructive, right? So I got to bring this up before we get too far. So one of my favorite things when you took over as chair of the SDSIC, one of the biggest changes.
Yeah, I changed the start time. That's where you're going with it. I know it. I don't know why we ever started at 8:00. That made no sense.
Yeah, and not only that, but it was like 8 to 5. Right?
8 to 5. Yeah. Oh man, it was bad.
Yeah.
9 to 4. Perfect. Done.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, Jeremy was elected as our chair for what? Did you do 3 years or?
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. So in the first meeting, elected our new chair. We announced him. Jeremy comes out. He says, "All right, change number one, changing our start time for the conference from 8 to 9." Gold.
Most applause anybody ever got. Promise you that. In that tiny room in San Diego.
That's right.
That tiny, so hot room in San Diego.
So hot. Man. That's awesome. Yeah, that was, dude. Still remains, and Audrey does a great job. And John Thomas was awesome, but that decision is one of the best charter changes I think we've ever had.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Yeah, it came in handy, places like New Orleans, and
Oh yeah, New Orleans was that was a really fun one too.
Yep,
That's the cool thing about these face to faces is they're just you go there, you learn a lot, but you also get to have a great time and meet some cool people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like, what a much easier way to reach out to somebody at another utility or something. You've met them in person.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
You had some laughs. You joked around. You met them already. It's so much easier to reach out, even if it's just an email.
Yep. Exactly. Go play some top golf with them.
Yeah. So, dude, let's touch on what you're doing now. So, from the physical committee, you ran the whole committee, and now you're doing the business strategy with Bill Gordon.
Yep. I got into this. Mike Grabowski talked me into it. I think I still hold the most chairs in the consortium as well. So
you do.
I do. Yep. So I'm still winning. All right, perfect. Yep. I thought so. Now I can officially claim it because Trevor said so.
Yep. You got to go over the technology after.
I don't know. I like the innovation one better. That's kind of been my bag these days. So
there you go. Yeah. Yep. You hold the most. So yep. And I had a conversation with Bill and just talking about the committee, and he said a lot of the same things as far as like for the new folks, that even joining the monthly calls for the committees, you don't need to be an expert to get on the calls. And Bill put it well, because he said, we learn more from all the questions, and sometimes those newbie questions make you rethink, how to explain these things, and kind of make you take a step back, right?
Oh yeah, it makes you realize that hey, let's rethink what we're doing. Maybe we aren't looking at the right track at this point. Some of us, our biggest fight at the beginning with taking this industry in this direction is really about change, right? People have been doing this for 50 years, been doing it this way. Why do I need to change, right? It was the biggest hurdle that we had.
Right.
And we have kind of been doing this so long that we're kind of getting in that way of ourselves, right? Yeah. When I came over here to Power, I had to really think about that, because I support anything that my client wants, right? If they're using Bentley, guess what?
Yeah,
I'm using Bentley. But if they're using Autodesk, then they're using Autodesk. If they're using this fancy other tool over here, whatever it's called, because there's so many now, we're using it. So I had to get out of the inventor is the best and it's all there's going to be, right? But it's questions like that from new people that we really need to kind of take a step back and go, all right, let's reevaluate our path, make sure we're on the right path, so that we get the end goal that we're all looking for, right? And it's a data-rich environment. I mean, let's all be honest here. That's what we're all trying to get to, where every utility has their own data-rich environment that they can take this data and use it however they need to. Planning, O&M, whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. No, and that's it's an interesting point, because I don't think there's any one utility that could say they only use one of those products.
No, I mean, even when I was at Duke, I was honestly surprised at how many people we had there that were on Autodesk and Bentley. I mean, it was like a 50-50 split.
Right.
And it depended on what region you were in and what department you were in, on which platform you were using. and which version of that platform you
Yeah.
were using. I mean, you could have this one office on, Bentley 3.1 and this other one on Bentley 10.9, right? I mean,
Right.
it was that drastically different, even on that level, all under the same roof.
Yeah.
And that's the way they've operated,
Yeah.
since they came off the boards, really.
Yeah.
And this kind of makes you take a step back and go, well, maybe we need to find a more efficient way of doing this and share that even within the utility itself, so that they can benefit from that. I can tell you the support people truly love that.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
They do not like supporting multiple versions of things.
Oh man. Well, like you said, if you're data rich, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Right? It's just a drafting or drawing tool, really. 3D modeling, it could be done. They're all the same, just need a bit of training, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. So, dude, you mentioned, well, good thing we didn't bring up Felix CAD or something like that. I haven't seen that.
You can swing a dead cat.
Hit Felix CAD.
Oh, I miss Joe Weaver.
Yeah, me too. Big shout out to Joe, right? He retired in, where's, man, living the
Beautiful down there, man.
You think he'll come back here?
He ain't coming. Would you? I live vicariously through his Facebook pictures that he puts up. Like he documented the whole build process of his first place. He did it for the second place, and it's fantastic. I mean, the views he has and the life he's living, like, beautiful. Good for him. That's fantastic. That's what most of us aspire to do.
Yeah,
get to a point where you can enjoy that piece of your life at the end.
Yeah. No, yeah. He is the definition of, happy retirement.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I don't think he'll come back for the 10th anniversary, even if it's in Nashville.
Yeah, no. As much as I love the consortium, it'd be tough for me to not. I probably wouldn't. That'd be hard to drag me away from an island, and nice little tropical island.
Yeah, with fresh cigars.
Right. And plenty of bourbon.
Yeah. All right.
Good bourbon, not the crappy stuff.
No.
Screw that good. Woodford Reserve.
Yeah, so we're not sponsored, so it's okay. So you mentioned
Ted's Blantons.
You mentioned one of my favorite words there. You said innovation or something. So you want to talk a little bit about your new role at Power, or not new, but what you've been doing at least the last year or so?
Yeah, once I came over here, started standing this group up, the BIM group, and it's been a fantastic ride so far. It's different, right? It's definitely not at a utility. They definitely operate different than the way that contract design firms work, right?
Right.
But I was no stranger to it, because previous to my time in the utility realm, I grew up in manufacturing, right? And that's how that's really how I learned a lot of the inventor stuff that I had behind me, and my vault stuff and implementations and all that stuff.
Right.
And that's how I ended up in this industry, to start, heading it that way, right? Than what I had before. So it was familiar territory to me with the new work that we've started doing with BIM, right? And I came in here going, yep, we're going to stand up Inventor, we're going to stand up Vault, we're going to stand up AutoCAD Electrical, we're going to stand up these toolkits, and we're just going to press forward, and we're going to make this happen.
Yeah,
I was in for a surprise there. But I mean, we did make that happen. I mean, we did invest towards it, but trying to push one solution just isn't the right answer, because it doesn't solve everybody's problem, right? So we had to start thinking more innovatively.
Well, so it was from manufacturing. How long were you at Duke? Actually, was it 8 years, 10 years? What was it? I don't remember.
What was my final total? 15, I think.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
I thought it was shorter. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I had some time there where I was a contractor, vying for what I called the blue card back then, to become an FTE.
Oh, yeah.
So I spent a few years. Well, I spent quite a few years as a contractor, and I didn't even start with Arnold. I started out of one of the out of the Cincinnati office, actually, working for Yanti over there.
Okay.
And man, I'll tell you what, that is the weirdest interview I had ever had in my life at that point. You know, you've been into a couple where it might have more than one person, and by more than one, I mean like one more person. I went into that interview and there was a whole team of people just sitting there grilling me. And I had never experienced that before in my life. But apparently I did good because they hired me.
That's good. See, you didn't do things like, I can't answer that, Senator, right now.
Right, exactly. But
That's awesome.
yeah, and then I was in that group for a little while. And then that's when Arnold noticed what I was doing, and he came and talked to me and he said, heard you were doing some things. I wanted to see what you had. And I explained everything I did front to back, and he was like, that's exactly what I was looking for. I've been looking for this for a couple years, and nobody's gotten me this whole thing actually works, was the question. I'm like, yeah, here, I'll even show you me switching the station in here. And went through all that, and he was like, that's exactly what I needed. That's what we're trying to do. And that was kind of the start of the whole thing to begin with. Yeah. So
yeah, that's awesome. Wow, dude. I've been in the CAD world for 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing I haven't done. And I would put you in the top 3 CAD people that I'd ever worked with, that
wow,
to actually see what you could do with a 3D CAD system. When I first met you, it was instant. I just could see the talent. So I know why you passed an interview with a bunch of people.
Thanks, man.
There's no secret there for sure, man. Yeah. And it's been awesome all the way along, dude, working with you on that stuff. It's been fun to watch, and it's been amazing to see the talent.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I kind of speechless. I don't know what to say to that.
Nah, you don't have to say anything, man. So, dude, what's the challenges now? Like, is there anything going on that you guys are trying to do? I know Sean Weekly. I don't think you're in his group though, right? A digital transformation side or whatever.
No, it didn't really make sense for him to be in our group. We talked about it.
Okay.
We kind of felt like if we put him in our group, one, we'd be selfish, right?
Yeah.
And he's fantastic at what he does.
Yeah, he is.
But as a holistic thing, as far as the whole company is concerned, like that is the perfect fit for him, right?
Yeah.
He's working on so many different really cool and innovative things, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be real exciting to see in the next couple years what he's going to bring to the market for us. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And the ideas that he gets to pull from anyone within the company, right?
Yeah.
So he can cherry pick all the best.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And just start programming it.
Yeah, Sean's on my list, man. I've been trying to get him on the podcast to talk.
Yeah, he's quite busy these days. I think last time I talked to him, he said if he lined out all his work, he would be busy for 7 years without a break.
Of course he did the math.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, Jeremy, what would be your advice to all the newbies listening, and to some of the folks that either want to join a monthly call and maybe deciding if they want to show up in Nashville for the first time?
Come and get involved. And by get involved, I don't mean come and make everybody know your name and offer up advice to people. That's not at all what you need to do to get involved. Just come, soak it in, learn some things. If you get an opportunity and you want to, we're all very happy to help and would love to talk to you. And the face-to-face in Nashville, it's going to be the best place to do it. It's probably going to be the biggest event we've had. It's hard to say that, right? Because it seems like everyone tops the next. I mean, and we started it in Nashville, so why not this one be the biggest?
Yeah, there you go.
I will tell you though that, I mean, with the Powers hosting, and that's so fantastic to have the opportunity to have some input there and to really kind of help drive home this 10-year anniversary. I promise you it's going to be big. And on top of that, the sponsors that we have putting into this thing too, I mean, huge shout out to them, because this wouldn't happen without them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of these sponsors they've been putting in for years, and they're just really kind of there for the same reasons we are. yes, everybody's there to learn and to help drive this thing so that we all can do these jobs a little easier, a little better, and to get a little more throughput through, right? You're going to learn all that. And then the biggest benefit on the backside, once you get to the promise of that data rich environment, and that's our ultimate goal. For new people, just come and soak it up, right?
Yeah. Well, there you go, man. And you're so right, dude. None of this would happen without the sponsorships. And it's incredible what Power stepped up to help us on the 10th year. It's going to be amazing, man. And there you go. You heard it from the man who's held the most committee seats of anyone in the SDSIC. Just get involved, right? Get involved. Don't do it alone.
Get involved. And I promise you, I was the shyest introvert when I started. I really was. It's not a joke.
That's a shocker for everyone listening that meets you today, right?
Yeah, exactly. The only guy at the consortium that wouldn't need a mic.
Well, hey, thanks so much for doing this, Jeremy. It was great.
Absolutely. It was great being here, and I look forward to hanging out with you on here a lot more, I hope.
Yeah, you got it, man. All right, buddy. Thank you for listening to the Power Up Podcast today. If you enjoyed this conversation and you're not yet a member of the SDSIC, join for free at sdsconsortium.com. Be part of the community and all these great conversations. And maybe you'll be the next guest on the Power Up Podcast.